Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling, fun Friday. How has your fun Friday been so far? Mine has been slammed. Um, got busy. It was busy from 8 o'clock this morning with the training call. Then we had a meeting straight after that, straight into work, and then straight into the next portion of the. It was just like boom, da boom, da boom, boom, boom. Um, and then we had a little bit of a break because I was waiting for somebody to come over to take me for a test drive in a possible tow vehicle. So he's now going to investigate to see if he can find somebody if we can find somebody who can put the tow gear onto it. Um, put the tow stuff onto it. But we just got back from the test drive. I know I have not done genealogy and history yet. There was no chance of that happening today. Absolutely none. Once the day got started, it was just full on. I didn't even get to check my emails till like close to 5 o'clock or something, or 4:30, somewhere around there. And noticed that somebody who had a meeting with me tomorrow had switched it to tonight at now, like at 6 o'clock. And I was sort of like, how the heck did my system do that? It knows not to book me on the same day. I've got it set up so you can't book on the same day, but somehow so I had to send them a quick message saying, sorry, I can't do it. I'm going for a test drive. No idea what time we're going to be back, and we just literally got back. Great couple. He had to bring his wife because they're going over to his mother's place to drop off Mother's Day gifts, which apparently is this weekend. My gosh, where's the time gone? Wow. It's got Mother's Day this weekend. I'm going to see if I can Zoom with my mum and dad this weekend. Have a Zoom with them. I mean, I haven't done that for, oh no, I can't, they're out of town. Darn it. If I get back in town. They're off and on the road again. But so I had a good test drive. The car drove beautifully. It looks good. There's, it's a 2008, so there's a few scratches and stuff on, scuff marks on there, but nothing that affects the driving of it. We ended up going for a drive, got to do U-turns as well, got to do some backing. It's got a backup camera on it. It's like, yay. And on the steering wheel, it has one of those little speaker, like the little mouth thing with the speaking thing coming out. I'm like, oh, does this have Bluetooth? And he said, like, no. I said, so this is one of those buttons that they put there just to annoy the hell out of you because it doesn't do anything. So, well, I think you can like give commands to it. And then we're just poking around, like opening, and I like hit something on the dashboard, and this little compartment opens up, and I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. And then I was down between the seats there and mucking around with the console between the seats, and hit this other, this flap. There was this thing there, and I thought, I wonder if this opens. I'm curious by nature, people. So I open up the flap, and I'm like, what's this? And it turns out it's a 6 CD changer. So you fill it up with your 6 CDs, put it into there, and then you can play it through the thing. So, and then when you open up the front of the radio piece, there's a single CD player behind there, and the little place where the navigation DVD goes. And then there's like a PC card thing, and I'm like, man, this thing is like tripped out. It's 2008, and it's tripped out with this little bit here and this little bit there, but it had the backup camera, which was awesome. So yes, we went for a nice drive down the road, came back. I think we were gone for about 30 minutes. Zeffie stayed here by herself, and she seemed to do pretty well. I did not get a lecture when I came inside, probably because I stayed outside for a little bit before I came in. But you're getting down under the seats and checking everything out, and the back seat, you can actually move it forward or backwards. You can recline the back seat. You can fold it all the way down. There's a lot of room in the back seat. And even though my dad's concern was that yes, this is a 2008 Amster, but he said that the front seats have had a lot of wear and tear on them. They put seat covers on the seats because of the leathers, a little worn and cracked and torn. Not too bad though. But my dad was concerned about the compression of the actual cushion. And of course, I'm sitting in this thing, and I'm like, okay, where's that button that you go to take it? Because I sat in there, and I was like, man, this is high. I felt like I was sitting up, I felt like I was sitting in the RV while sitting in the car. That's kind of how high I felt like I was sitting. So we got all that adjusted and everything else, went for a drive. But there's still some stuff that needs to be, adjusted for fine tuning for comfort of driving. And but that was I said to him, this is like the first time I have driven a vehicle that has not sparkled since like beginning of May of last year when I got out of Florida. I think the last car I drove last year was Bertha. That was my friend Tony had loaned me his car while I was in town in Florida there last year. And I think that was the last vehicle. I'm trying to think. I didn't rent any vehicle. I don't recall renting any vehicles over the last year. Yeah, I think that was the last car I drove was a year ago. So it was very different getting behind the wheel, but the maneuverability of this was pretty cool and good acceleration on it. Yeah, it felt comfortable to drive. So it's a contender. It's a contender, but I've told them that I'm going to think about it over the weekend and let them know on Monday. So giving myself time to step away. This is a car, it drives really well. Oh, it's comfortable, and yes, it's the right color and everything else, and I already know the name of the car, only because I wrote it in my journal about 3 months ago. I wrote in my journal what the name of the car was going to be, so I already know the name of the car. And the color of the car does not matter, but I know the name of the car. So you'll get to meet the car when I purchase a car. So yes, now we just got to find somebody that can install the tow kit before I have to leave. Because my next my next one, when I leave here on the 22nd, I'm going to work my way over to Vegas, stay there for about a week, and then take the road up to near Salt Lake City, and go visit the Mailbox Power head office for a couple of days, and meet all the people there that I've known remotely. Check out what's happening, maybe go over and see if we can see where the new site is, where they're broken ground on the new building, and check that out. I want to check out the new engraver that they have. So yeah, they do these laser engraved products, so can't wait to check that thing out. But it's been a really good, very slammed day. Yeah, even the chat was constant all day from when I got on to probably about 10-15 minutes before I finished for the day. It was literally constant that whole time. Oh, and with the exception of when Joe was doing his weekly CEO update at 2 o'clock, from 2 o'clock to 2:20, it quietened down. But like the second he finished that, and I had it going on my phone, I was sitting on the computer doing some work, so I was still answering some queries, but I had it sitting on my phone, so I could watch the live and stuff. So I was watching the live while answering questions and things. And the second he went off the air, bing, 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 started coming in again. I was like, great. They've all now finished. But yeah, so we introduced 4 new products today. One's one's a certificate holder, which is really cool. And the cool part about it, and it's one that opens landscape. So it's a landscape product, and it opens this way. But the opening for the certificate is in the top. Oh, that is so cool. And then I had another really cool idea about that, so I'm going to try it out. But you can engrave the person's name across the front of the certificate holder. Yeah, I was thinking of other things that you could put into that and how that would work. But I'm going to have to test it first. So that was really cool to do that. And but yeah, it's been a very, very busy, productive day today. I think I got caught up on just about everything, which is sort of like, wow. And then yesterday I was talking on the networking thing, I was talking with somebody about their genealogy and stuff, and all I had was her name to go on. And I sat there last night after I had dinner, and I was like, I wonder if I can find out any more information. So I went browsing, and then about 30-40 minutes after I went browsing, I sent her a message and said, hey, and asked her a question about something. Can she come back and said, yeah. And then we spent like the next 30 minutes chatting backwards and forwards on the thing. And I think I'm already back 3 generations, back to her great-grandparents already. So, and that was just starting with her name. So I said, I think I have to say, this is the least amount of information I have ever started researching somebody's tree with, was just their name. And, but I managed to find out what her maiden name was and went from there. And so it only took me 5 minutes to figure that out, and who her parents were, and that took me 5 minutes. And then after that, it was just like, so even though I hadn't done the deep in research of trying to find the different sources and stuff, I had her as another source. So I was able to say, hey, have you heard of this? Have you heard about this? do you know who this person is? I've got this information here. Is that correct? So she was able to verify that. But you all know me. If you don't, you should. But with genealogy, when it comes to that, I want a minimum of 3 sources per piece of information, and that people can go, that they can click on a link or go or know exactly where to go to get that piece of information. But it's important to have the sources there, and not just rely on one single source. And when you're doing the things through like Ancestry or Family Search or any of the other programs that are out there that do the automatic searching for you, say, hey, we possibly found a match. A lot of people think, oh, they found a match. Yes, that looks correct. Click. And it's sort of like, and then you find out later on that it's not. So before you click, you write the information down, and then you go find that resource, and then you research that information to see, because it could be, and I totally made a mistake with the clients one. I admitted it to them, got it cleaned up before I presented the family tree to them, but I told them I'd made this mistake while researching. And that was where we had 2 guys, her grandfather. So her grandfather was born in this county, in the state, and a few months later, another boy was born and given the exact same name. First name, middle name, last name. And the mothers had the same first names. And they're both married men with the same last names. And so unless you were very, very careful, it was very easy to get them mixed up, which I ended up doing. So I retraced my steps, found out where I'd made the mistake, and went the other path. So you got to be very careful with that. Yes, you can have people with the same names. In this tree I was looking at last night, there were 2 people who had the same first initials and stuff, but one used his first name rather than just the initials. But on some documents, he was written as his initials. So it got very confusing there for me at one point. But then I sort of looked at the clock and thought, I haven't had dinner. So we got off and I went and had dinner. And then this morning I had just a little bit of time before the morning call at 8 o'clock. And so I went and did some more. And then later on during the day, when I had like a little break, I sent her a message saying, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. She's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that, da-da-da-da-da. So, but yeah, it's really cool when you can go to somebody and you can say, hey, I found out this information, is it correct? And all of a sudden they're telling you a story because they'd forgotten about that story until you present them with the information, and then all of a sudden the story pours out and you're like furiously taking notes and everything about the story, because somewhere in there is a seed of truth that you've now got to go and find. Fortunately, this person was doing it via Facebook Messenger, so I was able to take screenshots so I could later go back and review it and write down everything. But yeah, so I got to pull out my little sheet so I can start drawing everything out, because I'm starting to get the generations a little confused. But it's all okay. It's all okay. But anyway, I'm out of here. I'm about to go take the DOG for WALK, and when I get back from that, so let's see, it's 6:30 now, so I'm going to say around 7:15, we're going to do genealogy and history, because we have not done that yet today. And what is on genealogy and history today? Let's see. Where's my little sheet here? George Washington Carver features today. The Lusitania features today. The long and winding. We're talking about that song today too. Somebody's buzzing my ear. What did I put my phone? Oh, the Nobel Peace Prize makes an appearance today. King Louis XIV makes an appearance today too. So you want to find out what all they have in common? I can't remember any of the ones I just mentioned. Come join us at 7:15 Pacific time this evening, and all will be revealed. So have a go, super fantastic, sparkling. We'll see you back here at 7:15 for genealogy and history, and and then that's it for 7:15 tonight for genealogy and history. Have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll see you again soon. Hey, konera.